Hi guys, recently I made some marmalade, but given the time of year I thought I'd infuse it with some Christmassy wintry spices, which go so well with the orange flavour. Though marmalade is not like jam in that it takes much longer to make, so you might as well commit and make loads of it, so at least you can give some jars away as presents. Because trust me here, homemade marmalade is infinitely better than shop bought. If you like, you can go to town on the Christmas flavours by making these cranberry and almond scones to go with it. Recipes in the description below. Top it off with some whipped cream or some clotted cream for a traditional Cornish cream tea. So start off with about 2 kilos of citrus fruit. I have 2 pink grapefruit, 2 lemons and 4 large oranges. Now take a vegetable peeler and start peeling the fruit, just taking the zest off and leaving as much of the white pith as you can. This will take a long time, so it's best to settle down with a cup of tea. Try to use unwaxed fruit for this, but if you can only find waxed fruit, then just wash them really well first in really hot water. Once you've removed all the zest, stack them all up and snip them into thin strips. You can use a knife for this if you prefer. Or if you'd like really smooth marmalade without any of the fruit peel, you don't need to cut them up, just set them aside until later. Once all the zest is cut into strips, set them aside while you juice your now naked fruit. You should definitely use an electric juicer for this because life is too short for juicing piles of fruit by hand. Save any pulp or seeds too because that's all going to be used. Now take a really large heavy-based saucepan and add the juice, followed by the strips of fruit peel. Only add them here if you want them in your marmalade. If you want it smooth, don't. Now set that aside and grab another saucepan. Add all the pulp and seeds from your juicer and take what's left of your fruit after you've juiced them and peeled them and snip the white pith into the pan. Now add your wintry spices, starting with 30 centimeters of cinnamon, 3 star anise, about a teaspoon of cloves, and 10 of these green cardamom pods. You can bruise them if you like, but I'm just going to snip them in with the scissors. Now top all that up with 2.5 litres of water, give it a stir and bring it to the boil. This pith contains a natural setting agent that we're going to extract by boiling it. If you're making smooth marmalade, add the zest now so you get its flavour. Now clamp the lid on, turn the heat down to medium-low and let it simmer away for at least 2 hours. In the meantime, take 3 small side plates and stick them in the freezer. These cold plates will help you tell when the marmalade is set. 2 hours later, stir it up again before you pass it all through a fine mesh sieve. Make sure you push it through, extracting as much of the liquid as possible before you discard any remaining pith and spices. Keep going until you've extracted all the liquid from the pith. I found a potato masher pretty useful for this. Pour what's left in the pot through the sieve as well to catch all that pulp and discard it. Now return to your big pan with the juice and the zest and pour in the liquid you've just extracted from the pith. Stir it all up, turn the heat up to high and bring it to the boil. Once boiling, add the sugar. I'm using 2.5 kilograms in total and it's mostly caster sugar, but I am adding 250 grams of dark brown sugar here. I think its treacliness goes really well with the wintry spices, but if you're making this during summer or if you're making it in January, which is the Seville orange season, for summer, I'd leave out the dark brown sugar and probably leave out the spices in general. Now stir that up to help the sugar dissolve and let it come to a rolling boil. Then stir again to try to break up that foam. Now I used a candy thermometer to get an accurate reading. Jam will set after reaching 105 degrees Celsius, so take it off the heat then. If you don't have one of these thermometers, I'd let it boil for 40 minutes. You can check it though by taking the first of your frozen plates and pouring about a tablespoon of the boiling jam onto it. Allow it to cool for 5 minutes and then drag your finger across it slowly. It should form a crinkly skin. This hasn't, so it's not done yet. So after another while of boiling and reducing, I tried this again with the second cold plate. I let the marmalade cool and you can see that the skin is a little crinkly. I did test again just to make absolutely sure and that was good for me. Now turn off the heat and let the marmalade come down to a cooler temperature. Not room temperature though, but just a little bit cooler. Because you don't want to shatter the sterilised jars you're going to put it into. I just ran these over a hot cycle in the dishwasher, but you could add them to a big pot of boiling water as well. The lids I actually had boiling in a small saucepan of water. Along with this jam funnel, this isn't totally necessary, but it is really helpful, especially if you're a bit of a klutz like me. Now just ladle in the hot marmalade until all the jars are filled. Next, you're going to submerge all the jars in a big pot of water. You might need to use 2 pots for this, and let the water come to a boil and let it boil for half an hour. Then remove the jars and let them cool completely. Then they'll be ready to give away as presents or keep for yourself for Christmassy scones. Thanks a million for watching, guys. I hope you liked this video and this recipe. If you did, be sure to hit the like button below and the subscribe button to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I do hope you give this recipe a go. I know it's a lot of work, but it is totally worth it. There's a world of difference between homemade marmalade and the shop bought stuff. So if you know people who love marmalade, they really will enjoy this. I'd love to know how you got on if you tried this recipe yourself. You can let me know on social media. You'll find all my social media accounts in the description below, as well as the link to my blog where you'll find this full recipe at www.rookiecook.org.